Before the Philippines became a nation, there was no single word for its people. Many called themselves Tagalogs, Ilocanos, Cebuanos, or Moros, loyal first to their town or province or to the Spanish crown. Yet, one man dared to imagine them as a single person, Dr. Jose Rizal. He envisioned a community bound not merely by region, language, or birthplace, but by a shared identity, Filipinos. At a time when Filipinos suffered under unequal rule, Jose Rizal used his intelligence, writings, and courage to awaken the spirit of his people. Though he carried no sword and commanded no army, his words inspired a movement that changed the course of Philippine history. Today, we trace his journey from his childhood in Calamba to his travels across the world, his years in exile, and his final sacrifice, and explore how his ideas gave birth to our sense of nation.
So before Jose Rizal became our national hero, he was first a son raised in a loving, disciplined, and educated family. His early experiences at home played a very important role in shaping his character, values, and love for learning. Let us now take a closer look at where Rizal came from and how his family influenced the person he eventually became. Jose Portasio Rizal Mercado A. Alonso Realonda was born on June 19, 1861 in Calamba, Laguna, the seventh of 11 children of Francisco Mercado Rizal, a successful tenant farmer and land manager, and Teodora Alonso Realonda, a highly educated woman from a respected family. His parents broke colonial norms. They treated their children with affection but raised them with strict discipline and prioritized their education above all else. His mother was his very first teacher. She taught him to read by age 3, guided him in poetry, and taught him to question what he saw around him. His father taught him the dignity of honest work and the courage to stand by one's word. Rizal later wrote that the foundation of his desire to serve the country came from the values he learned at home. That talent is a gift to be shared, and that no one is truly free until all are treated fairly. With this strong foundation, young Jose set out to learn all he could, first in his hometown, then across the country.
Even as a small boy, Rizal showed extraordinary gifts. He wrote his first poem at age 8, excelled in drawing and sculpture, and could speak several languages before he finished elementary school. But more than talent, he showed deep empathy, He felt the unfairness he saw around him and promised to use his skills to help those who had no voice. He began formal schooling in Binyan, Laguna before moving to Manila to study at the Ateneo Municipal de Manila. He finished his degree with highest honors at just 16. He later enrolled at the University of Santo Tomas, first in philosophy and letters, then in medicine, specializing in ophthalmology because he hoped to cure his mother's failing eyesight. But he grew frustrated. Filipino students face constant discrimination and the curriculum was designed to keep them obedient rather than critical. He realized that to push for change, he needed to learn from the best the world had to offer. In 1882, he sailed for Spain. In Madrid, he earned his licentiate in both medicine and philosophy at the Universidad Central de Madrid. He continued his studies in Paris and Heidelberg, Germany. For Rizal, education was never just for personal success. It was the most powerful tool to prove that Filipinos were equal to any people on earth and to build a nation worthy of its citizens. His studies took him across oceans and every new place he visited sharpened his vision for what the Philippines could become.
Rizal traveled to more than 20 countries across Europe, Asia, and North America, including Spain, France, Germany, England, Japan, and Hong Kong and the United States. He did not just sightsee. He studies how other nations build justice, how citizens participated in government, and how education could lift whole societies. While abroad, he led the propaganda movement, a peaceful campaign calling on Spain to grant Filipinos equal rights, representation in the Spanish Parliament, and an end to abuse by the corrupt officials and friars. He wrote essays for La Solidaridad that dismantled lies, claiming Filipinos were backward or unfit for freedom. In 1887, he published No Le Metang Here, a novel that laid bare the suffering of ordinary Filipinos and how colonial rule turned neighbor against neighbor. It was banned in the Philippines but secretly copied and read across the islands, opening eyes to the reality their shared struggles. 5 years later, he released El Filibusterismo, a darker, more urgent sequel that asked what happened when people beg for justice and are given only silence. These books did more than tell stories. They give Filipinos a shared language and help them see that their struggles were not separate but one. But behind the pen and the public cause was a man who loved deeply, grieved, and dreamed of a quiet life too.
History records a young woman who touched Rizal's heart in different ways. Some were brave, youthful intuitions, other deep friendships, and a few were loves the saint with him for life. First affection was for Segunda Katigbak, a young woman he met at a teenager, though she was already engaged to another. Later, court Leonor Orang Valenzuela, a neighbor in Manila, and fell deeply in love with Leonor Rivera, the woman who would always call his true love. An inspiration for Maria Clara and his novels. For years, they planned a future together. But family opposition kept them apart, and Leonor eventually married someone else. While in Spain, he admired Consuelo Ortega Rey, but stepped aside so his friend could pursue him in Japan. He met Saiko Usui or Usi-san, who taught him Japanese and shared her culture. He nearly just to stay there with her in London. He grew close to Gertrude Beckett, and then later, in France, he nearly proposed to Nelly Boustet. He also shared a warm bond with Suzanne Hakobeck during his time in Belgium. The last woman in his life was Josephine Bracken, the Irish woman who joined him the Pita. She stood by him through his exile, his triumph, and his final moments. This love was losses remind us that behind the hero was a man who felt joy, longing, and heartbreak just like anyone else. They taught him about sacrifice and deepened understanding, and families and homes he was fight to protect. As Rizal influence continued to grow, Spanish authorities began to view him as dangerous through his life would soon take a hardest turn.
Though Rizal never held a weapon or called for violence, his ideas terrified those in power. In 1892, he returned home to found La Liga Filipina, an organization that aimed to unite Filipinos across regions, strengthen local businesses, expand access to education, and promote peaceful reform. Just 4 days later, he was arrested and exiled to Dapitan, a remote town in Mindanao. For 4 years, he turned isolation into service. He ran a free clinic for the poor, opened a school for local boys, designed and helped build the Dapitan's water system, and collected and documented numerous plants and animals, several of which were later named in his honor. He showed that patriotism is not just about fighting for one's country. It is also about serving one's community, wherever one may be. When the Katipunan launched the Philippine Revolution in 1896, many revolutionaries drew inspiration from Rizal's writings. But he had no part in planning the uprising. Even so, Spanish authorities held him responsible. He was arrested while traveling to Cuba to serve as a volunteer doctor, brought back to Manila, and imprisoned at Fort Santiago. He was tried by a military court on charges of rebellion, sedition, and conspiracy. Although no direct evidence linked him to the armed uprising, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. On the night before his execution, he wrote Mi Ultimo Adios, a poem that gave the Philippines one of its most enduring messages, that one may give their life so the nation may live. On December 30, 1896, at Bagong Bayan, Jose Rizal faced the firing squad with remarkable courage and composure. As the shots rang out, he turned so that he fell facing upward, a final act remembered as a symbol of courage, dignity, and love for his country. His death did not silence him. Instead, it united the nation. Many who had once hoped only for reform came to believe that complete independence was the only path forward. Rizal had proven that ideas can be more powerful than force. Jose Rizal was more than a hero or a writer. He was among the first to clearly define what it means to be Filipino, not by blood or birthplace alone, but by shared ideals of justice, dignity, and service. His novels gave Filipinos a shared story. His life showed that one does not need wealth or political power to create lasting change, and his sacrifice inspired a people to unite in pursuit of freedom. Today, we continue to carry his legacy. Every time we choose education over ignorance, unity over division, and truth over silence, we keep his dream alive. Although he did not live to see an independent Philippines, his courage and vision helped inspire the nation that would one day achieve it. Jose Rizal's life awakened a nation. His sacrifice continues to inspire generations, and his voice will never be forgotten.